Hello, my people. It's Thursday evening, about 9 p.m. Gonna go hit some shoulders and arms. Yeah, my favorite day of the week, if I'm being honest. And yeah, probably gonna try out this grainy effect just to retrofy the footage a little bit to make up for the camera quality, obviously. Not that my camera's shit, I'm filming on the latest iPhone, so that should be, what the fuck am I saying? Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna try it out. Tell me if you like it or not, and we'll probably, pick up from there. All right, I'll catch y'all at the gym. Straight into it today. No need to gallivant about. Yeah. Oh, took the 40s for a spin. Whew. Whew. Yeah. Man, I'm keen for this session, right? Just gonna get to the action. I'll talk in a bit. The importance of electrolytes. Shouldn't downplay it, to be honest. The muscle runs on water and glycogen, so you gotta make sure you're replenishing it. Nevertheless, that first set felt great. With the 40 shot, I think I'm gonna stick to this weight for my working weight. And yeah. Yeah. Maybe 1 or 2 more sets, but I'm just gonna drop the weight by 5 kilos. Chase a pump. All right. Third set, 35 kilos, drop from 40. Shoulders are feeling good. That's why I love shoulder day, man. All right. Clean reps, clean reps. Yeah. I'm never gonna completely be in frame with the shot, but I like it. I just try to keep it to shoulder presses for the front belt on my shoulder days, because I feel like raises are too much, to be honest. Yeah. My shoulder days pretty much consist of spamming lateral movements just because I'm obsessed with that, wide, broad shoulder look. Plus, I have a really fucking narrow waist, so I feel like the more I build my shoulders, the more I emphasize the V taper that I already have. Kind of genetically blessed in that department, to be honest, because I was pretty much born with a tiny waist. And although I've been skinny my whole life, yeah, a lot of people I went to school with used to just know me as that skinny guy, but Never really took my shirt off, but if you saw my bone structure even before that, you would see that I was pretty much built to have a V-taper. So there's no surprise when I started going to the gym, then people started to notice, you know what I mean? Whew. Hey. I'm not a big fan of uh changing splits too frequently, but I'm definitely for if an exercise isn't working for you the way it's intended to, switching to an alternative, but still, following the same split. I feel like you're gonna get, you know, more out of doing that than the person who serially, that's not a word, but like, is a serial split changer. So I feel like consistency in anything is probably going to get you more than, constantly switching, switching it up, but not when it comes to movements. By all means, if the movement isn't feeling right for you, or it's just one day hasn't been hitting as good as it usually does, then by all means, go for it. But stick to the same split. Uh, but yeah, get that out of the way. This machine, man, far out. It has been working phenomenally. Like the pumps are crazy. So, same thing. I like to use a lot of volume in my shoulders. So start off heavier, fail at that weight, and then go lighter. Same thing. I think I got let's see. Yeah. Ah, fuck. Whew. Adding on to that last point, I was never a fan of this machine, but one day the lateral raise machine that I just used wasn't feeling that great, so I opted to try this out, and then it just it just clicked somehow, and then so that's what I mean when it comes to if a movement isn't feeling right on a certain machine or like variation, then there's other alternatives. Nevertheless, set two.
Rear delts often slept on muscle, but honestly, pretty easy muscle to train if you know what you're doing. These absolutely brought up the 3D roundness to my shoulders, if anything. Reverse pec deck. But without gripping the handles, I feel like you get a better activation. But like I said, each to their own. You don't need too heavy of a weight because it's such a small muscle. So, it's going to get worked from your rowing movements and whatnot and through your back training. But sometimes it's just good to isolate them like any muscle. But nevertheless, oh, fuck. 2 more of those. Whole reason why I started this fitness journey, if I'm being honest, it sounds cliche, but it was because of Arnold, bro. Ever since I was a little kid, like watching Terminator and all the movies he was in, Predator, whatnot, to have a body that majestic and like aesthetic, it's something else. It's a work of art. And then that kind of snowballed into me, discovering the golden era of bodybuilding, where there were just absolute freak aesthetics. With like none of the resources we have now, none of the knowledge, nutrition, you know, equipment for the most part. And yeah, I just look at those guys and like that's if I had to like when you have those kids in movies that like will put posters on their wall of like the people they idolize and whatnot. Those images in my head of the bodies back then, those are the posters in my metaphorical room as such that I like to look at sometimes and get a little motivation and then once I discovered actually working out, I realized that my genetics are actually pretty decent and actually pretty suited to bodybuilding. I was always a skinny guy, so I thought that I could never become a bodybuilder, you know what I mean? But then I realized that most of your favorite bodybuilders started off as ectomorphs or skinny guys. And then once I found that out, I just pumped it hard every single day. And yeah, I live and breathe this sport. There's nothing I'd rather be doing. When I'm at work, I'm thinking about working out. When I'm at home, I'm thinking about working out. On my rest days, you gotta love it. My biggest advice to anybody trying to get into something: don't do it unless you love it. Second set. With that being said, That was maybe 2 reps in reserve. So I might up the weight and then try to fail it around 10 to 15 reps. Yeah. Yeah. So up the weight a little bit. Like I said, trying to fail at around 10 to 15 because I kept getting 20 reps with about 1 to 2 reps in reserve for those last 2 sets. So I try to cap any exercise that requires high reps to around 20 to 30. 30 being on the high end, obviously, but nothing past 30, I would say, unless it's just solely for pump. But, you know, I'd only really do that if I was preparing for a competition, which I'm not, and I haven't even competed yet. So the foundation of building muscle, I should say, would be anywhere from 5 to 30 reps, but within reason. You know, there's specific occasions where you would use lower reps and then specific occasions where you use higher reps. None of that higher reps to tone the muscle bullshit or anything like that. But, you know, just got to see what works for you. I like to have a combination of both. So 10 to 15 reps. Oh, pretty much failed just on 10. All right. Machine dips. Fan favorite. Premise. Trying to keep the elbows locked and extending. Pump cover might come off after this, depending how pumped they feel. So should be nice. All right. First set. Oh, man. I feel like, yeah, holding the grips in this neutral position is definitely better than the palm out, if I'm being honest. But I heard a lot of people say once you progress in the machine past the full stack, you have to buy, or not even just the full stack, anything past your body weight, you're going to have to buy a seatbelt to lock you in. Because I don't know if you saw, but I was starting to lift up a little bit. So that might be the next meaningful purchase, if I'm being honest. That and wrist cuffs for, gripless exercises for any limb movements. But yeah, I find so much enjoyment out of these arm sessions, if I'm being honest. It honestly is the top muscle to train. That's where all your pride goes, you know. I mean, you wear a shirt, people are going to notice your arms. You know what I mean? Like a big back, yeah, I'd say, but bro, who doesn't want some big juicy fucking arms, bro? I'm being honest. Whew. All right. Second set. Feeling good, feeling good. Whew. Whew. Ah, whew, that felt good. Just realized doing a lot of low angle shots, but that's mainly because I think I'm trying to have some level of discreetness when it comes to filming in a gym because I'm still, you know, I'm getting more confident. This is only my second video, and I'm really not giving a fuck about the looks I'm getting. So that's a sign. But still, with that being said, you want to be respectful to other members. So I'm actually in the private zone right now because there's no one up here. Because the cable machines were a little bit crowded down there. But while I was doing reverse pec deck here, I realized that they have a cable machine up here too that nobody uses from the looks of it. So getting into the push down sets. I've got the V-bar attachment on the floor, but I'm not going to use that yet. I'm going to just get some blood into the triceps with the little bit of rope extensions. Lighter weight, trying to stretch at the bottom. And then we're going to go into our classic push down, V-bar push down superset with the traditional and then the bent over overhead. And then we're going to do some reverse tricep extensions, taking it back to the 70s. All right. Just to get some blood pumping. Shoulders locked back. With it being an arm day, the whole reason why I have an arm day, obviously is because I want to grow some big juicy arms, but I feel like they're a lagging body part. I mean, they look good. Other people tell me they look good, but I want them to look good to me. And I'm not sure that's going to be possible because, everybody has their own level of body dysmorphia and whatnot. But it just goes to show because I never got compliments on my body growing up. I've always been skinny. But, I started training and, a lot of people have been, in the most modest and humble way I can be. People have been, complimenting my body, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate every compliment I get, but like deep down, I still don't believe anybody when they compliment me on something like that, just because, I didn't get bullied for being skinny, but no one, let me forget that I was skinny, if that makes sense. Always putting a freaking hand around my wrist or, do you eat? Like, come on, you know what I mean? But I feel like, you know, you got to use that in a positive way. Don't hate yourself to start the gym. You know what I mean? Just, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, they might be making fun of you, but, you may be skinny. And, I personally feel like I stayed skinny for a long time because I just started believing what everybody was saying about me. Oh, you'll never get big. Like, even family members I've had, you know, like I'm not built like that. So how are you going to be built like that? Like, you know what I mean? If you want to do something, just do it. But with that being said, let's grow these triceps. I've been a scientist, man. Crazy. I think he's a little bit too high, actually. Yeah. This one's weird. That felt way too light. man, I must say, utilizing intra and post workout carbs and electrolytes has actually helped me greatly. I feel less taxed. My muscles feel like, ready to go. Have you noticed in sipping on this big jug of electrolyte serum? It's literally Powerade powder and a little bit of salt. Pretty good. It works. All right. Second set, and then we're going to take the pump cover off and continue. Oh, yes. All right. Pump covers off. Decently pumped. Yeah. Same thing. Last set of push downs, and then we're gonna go to some reverse. But yeah, it's feeling good. It's feeling good. Ooh, that's way too light. What the fuck? What the heck? Yeah, we're just gonna do stick to the basics. Ah, too heavy. Ooh, biceps. First angle is probably trash, but this one better. Ooh. Two more sets. Music isn't as obnoxious today, surprisingly. Still loud, but not as bad as last week. Whew. Yeah, I didn't end up filming those last two sets. There's a lot of foot traffic, so I didn't want to impede. But almost finished the biceps. Might do a freeway curl after these, but you'll see. That's better. Whew. Ah. Mm. Mm. Ah. 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 Mm. Ah. Oh. Ah. Man, I must say, today has been a really enjoyable session. Like, I'm getting a crazy high right now from just being here and this workout. That's what it's about at the end of the day. You're not having fun doing that. Maybe it's time to pick a new confession. Ooh. Nevertheless, I mm, oh, ah, 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 ah. Ooh, that last set was a little too heavy. So biceps are definitely getting fatigued. Gonna drop the weight once more and then hammer goes. Ah, 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 mm.
Delts are looking capped. Shoulders looking good. Overall arm width is what I'm trying to work on. So definitely bringing out these triceps with full. As you can see from the back, not as wide as I want them to be, but you know, we're getting there. Only technically been training properly for maybe 4 to 6 months. My first year of training, I wouldn't even count it, to be honest, because it was no real progress. It was a lot of trial and error. But like I say, it's better to start earlier because your first year of training, you're not going to know what you're doing unless you've got someone there step by step, you know, telling you what to do. But in my case, I didn't, you know, it's like it was a lot of bro science, if that. But yeah, I feel like We did all right. That mirror shot is actually gone. Let's get a thumbnail real quick. Yeah. Yeah. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.